Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at Periodic, a Game of the Elements. This is a 2 to 5 player pick up and deliver set collection educational game where you will be gaining and spending energy to navigate the periodic table. You'll be trying to collect points through goal cards, utilizing your agenda card, and advancing up the academic track, trying to have the most points at the end of the game. Now that we know what the winning condition is, let's take a look at the components setup and how gameplay works in Periodic, a Game of the Elements. Now let's take a look at the components. You have your main game board, goal cards, agenda cards, group cards, energy tokens. The metal energy tokens comes with the collector's edition of the game. Lab tokens, award tiles, goal markers. In each of the 5 player colors, you have a microscope, a flask, a disc, and 6 cubes. And then finally you have your rule book. Now let's take a look at the setup. We're going to be setting this up for a 3-player game which takes 13 steps. Step 1, place the main game board in the center of the play area. Step 2, you will separate, shuffle, and stack your goal cards. You will separate the goal cards by color, green, blue, purple, and pink. You will shuffle each stack and then draw a number based on the color. You will draw 6 green, 6 blue, 5 purple, and 5 pink. You will place each of those stacks above the main game board and then flip over the top card of each stack. Step 3, place the award tiles above their corresponding goal cards based on the color. Step 4, place a goal marker for each element from each goal card on the main board. Step 5, create a lab token pool next to the goal cards. Step 6, shuffle and place your element group cards. You'll place 4 to the left side of the board and 4 to the right side of the board. Step 7, place 1 energy token on each of the trend locations at the bottom of the main game board. And then place the remaining energy tokens to the side of the main game board. Step 8, choose a player color and get the corresponding components. Step 9, choose a starting player and place your discs on the academic track. The starting player is the person who has most recently touched calcium carbonate, and then it will go in clockwise order. When placing on the academic track, the first player will place their disc at 0, second player 0, and the third player at 0. The fourth player would place theirs at 2, and the fifth player would place theirs at 2. So for this game, orange is the first player. Step 10, collect energy tokens. You will collect a number of energy tokens based on the player order. The first player will get 3, second player 4, third player 5, the fourth player would get 3, and the fifth player would get 4. So since we're playing a 3-player game, the first player will get 3 energy tokens, the second player will get 4 energy tokens, and the third player will get 5 energy tokens. Step 11, place your microscopes on group cards. The first player will place theirs on the bottom left group card, and then going clockwise, in turn order, players will place their microscopes on alternating cards. So the first player will place theirs in the bottom left card, and then the second player will go up 2 cards. The third player will place theirs on the top right card, and then the fourth and fifth player will place theirs on the 7th card or 2 down from the top right card. Step 12, place your flasks on the lowest element on the group card where your microscope is located. And finally, step 13, draw 3 agenda cards and choose 1 to keep. Now let's take a look at the gameplay. A game consists of turns starting with the first player going clockwise until either a goal stack is empty or 2 players reach the max on the academic track. A turn consists of 2 phases: activate trends and refresh. Now let's look at each of those in detail. Phase 1, activate trends. This is where you will spend or gain energy to activate one of the 5 trends at the bottom of the main game board. If you choose to spend energy, you would pay 1 energy token for your first trend that you activate, and then 2 for each additional trend that you activate. When spending energy, you may activate as many trends as you would like. When gaining energy to activate a trend, you would gain all of the energy located on a particular trend and then take that one trend. When gaining energy, you can only take one trend. After each trend or movement, you will research elements if you finished your movement on a goal marker. If you finish your movement or trend on a goal marker, you would place one of your cubes of your player color on the corresponding element on the goal card. It's good to keep in mind that if there are multiple goal markers on a particular element, you must choose one of those goal cards to place your cube. There are 5 trends or movements located at the bottom of the main game board. These will allow you to move 1 to 5 spaces in the indicated directions. The first trend is to increase or decrease atomic number. This will allow you to go left or right up to 5 spaces. This is also the only location where you can wrap around the board, indicated by the clear arrows. Next, increase ionization energy. This will allow you to go up and or to the right up to 5 spaces. The third trend is to increase atomic radii. This allows you to go down and or to the left up to 5 spaces. The fourth trend is to increase atomic mass. This will allow you to go down and or to the right up to 5 spaces. And the final trend is to decrease atomic mass. This will allow you to go up and or to the left up to 5 spaces. And then we have phase 2, refresh after your turn. This has 2 parts. You will refresh completed goal cards. If a player has cubes on all of the elements on a particular goal card, that goal card is completed. The player that completed the card would gain the card and the award tile of that color if it is available. The award tiles can be used any time during their future turns. The other players with cubes on that particular goal card will get lab tokens based on the number of cubes they had on the card. If they have 1 cube on that particular goal card, they would gain 3 in lab tokens. And if they had 2 cubes on that particular goal card, they would gain 5. Then the next goal card in that stack would get flipped face up. And then the second part of phase 2 is to advance markers on the group and academic tracks. If a player ends their turn on an element in the next group card going clockwise, they move their microscope to that card and advance the academic track 1 space. It's good to keep in mind that individual agenda cards are described in the rulebook. So let's say that it is orange turn. They would start by activating trends. And since they finished their second trend on a goal marker, they would be allowed to place their cube on that goal card for that element. And then the refresh phase, and since they ended their movement on an element on the next group card, they would get to move their microscope and advance on the academic track. And then turns would continue clockwise until either a stack of goal cards runs out or 2 players advance to the rightmost spots on the academic track. When that occurs, the rest of the players will take 1 final turn. It's good to keep in mind that if the final round is triggered by one of the goal card stacks running out, you would refresh a goal card from the box of that particular color. And then after that particular round of turns is finished, we would go into the final scoring. The final scoring takes 4 steps. Step 1, you would add up all the points from your goal cards and lab tokens. Step 2, you would add points from the academic track. Step 3, you would add points from research cubes on incomplete goal cards. So you would be awarded a number of lab tokens based on the number of cubes you have on those particular cards, as if the cards were completed. So if you had 1 cube, you would gain 3, and if you had 2 cubes, you would gain 5. And then finally, step 4, you would add points from your agenda cards. The tiebreaker is furthest on the academic track. After you've added up all of your points, the player with the most points wins periodic A Game of the Elements.